Tony Esposito, one of the greats. John McDonough made it a priority to bring back the legends. We saw Hull, we saw Makita. Tonight it's Esposito. Josh Mora had a chance to catch up with the man we're honoring tonight. Josh, what do you have?
Well, I can tell you I have a mask that is even less protective than yours. Mine is made of paper. All the fans are getting these, and I'm in a kind of a vulnerable position here between the benches. But you guys talked about the goaltenders for the Blackhawks wearing the number 35 in the warm-ups. Of course, that was Nikolai Khabibulin's number his entire career from the time he started in Winnipeg until he got here. He couldn't have that number here because Tony Esposito just owns that number. It's retired in his name, and it's always belonged to him, even though he hasn't played here now for almost a quarter of a century. But in that way, his absence from the franchise is maybe even more conspicuous than the absence of Bobby Hull and Stan Mikita over the course of time, and I had a chance to ask him about that before his ceremony tonight. Has it surprised you that it's taken you so long to come back to the Blackhawks?
Well, I just... it seemed like for a long time there wasn't going to be much of a change in their structure or in their thinking. And when Rocky took over, I actually thought that he would do something to, with the former players, because Rocky grew up with us. I mean, I knew Rocky when he was like 17 and 18, and I knew him all those years, and I just knew what kind of person he was. I mean, this guy is a shrewd businessman, I'm telling you.
Did it surprise you that it took so long to come back? I mean,
Well, it didn't take long after he took over,
right,
did it?
Right. No. But from the time you played, it did.
Yes, it certainly did. Well, the thinking, the mindset was different before. It wasn't about anything to do with past players or any kind of really culture or heritage. It was like the now player and the future player. And I think that you have to cultivate the team over the long haul, from the past, the present, and the future, to build a tradition. And that's what a lot of teams have done, and that's what Rocky's doing, and with John McDonough. I mean, there's another guy, he knows, he's got his idea what he's going to do, and he's going to do it. And Rocky, he doesn't micromanage. You get a job to do, you do it.
What does a current goalie ask you, a Hall of Fame goalie, about the game?
Well, mainly I think that they try. I had a reputation of being really a mentally tough guy. And they ask me about that. How do you maintain that toughness and focus to continue to excel at a high rate or a high level? Things like that they ask you. That's what I would ask my predecessors too. And how do you do this? And I try to explain to them, and I think that sometimes they go away and they know what it takes to stay there.
What are the memories that have stayed with you from your time as a Blackhawks player?
Well, with the memories, it's the emotion of playing more than anything. The highs and lows of winning and losing. You get out there, you go out there and you give it all you got. Some nights you're better than other nights, and you give it all, and hopefully you're up more than you're down. In other words, you're winning more than you're losing, or you won't be there anyway. So, but I enjoyed that, and playing in that stadium. The stadium was like, I hated to see that torn down.
Well, you had one ceremony before, obviously, when they retired your jersey, when they retired 35, and you got to see it again hanging up in the rafters. What was that ceremony like for you? How will it be different from this one?
Well, when they retired the jersey was special, yeah, absolutely special, and it was just to be on the ice again when how the fans cheer and yell. It's a feeling that I can't explain unless you were out there. Like if you were on the ice during the game, even if it was just a ceremony for someone else, and you would hear the way the noise is down there, it would really be exciting.
It's not that many guys that get sort of a second crack at that too, and you do, and it may not be like Montreal. If the night for Bobby and Stan is any indication, it's going to go a little while. You may actually have to say a few things. What do you have to say to the fans? What is going to be your message when you get to address them?
Well, I was thankful to play there for so many years, And I could honestly say, in all the years, any fan I've ever met anywhere has always been a positive relationship, and they've always been extremely courteous and kind to me.
Do you feel like with this, with all of you guys going in, with the resurgence of the team, both in its ability and its embracing the fans, like it's all coming back together now?
I believe so. I believe that the feeling is coming back, and you know, and again, I mean, it's Vince Lombardi. You know, it's the old coach. You know, winning is a habit. Unfortunately, losing is a habit too. So when you're winning, everything seems to snowball for you, and that's what it seems to be happening with the Hawks. We all know that they're not quite where they want to be yet, but they're improving, and they're playing exciting hockey.
Well, that they certainly are. You're talking to some of Tony's former teammates earlier today, like our radio compatriot Troy Murray, who said if it weren't for Tony Esposito, it would have taken him a lot longer to get started in a positive direction with his career. Tony sat him down and taught him how to treat this job, as a professional. And, you know, I can vouch for it personally, too, how exciting it was when Tony was in the building playing for the Blackhawks. I was a little young when Bobby Hull was finishing up, and I didn't see Stan Mikita's best days, but Tony Esposito played here through most of my childhood in the old building, and he was the difference on several mediocre Blackhawk teams that made them good teams. It was wonderful to get to watch him play, and it's going to be wonderful to see his highlights and hear what he has to say tonight in the new building as the Blackhawks honor Tony Esposito. We'll welcome him back to the Blackhawks once again. Guys.
Josh, thank you very much. Again, the bottom of the hour, 7:30, that's when that celebration will begin for Tony.